Good morning. Today's topic for our catechesis before Master in this Eucharistic revival is on the fruits of the Eucharist. Now, Jesus tells us that his body and blood are true food and true drink that will give us eternal life. Just as the manna sustained the Israelites on their journey to the promised land, the bread of life nourishes us on the wilderness of this life until we reach our heavenly homeland. How exactly does the Eucharist nourish us? Well, the Catechism of the Catholic Church mentions many fruits of this awe-inspiring sacrament in paragraphs 1391 through 1401, if you want to read those later. But some of the things mentioned within the Catechism are that the Eucharist unites us ever more intimately to Christ. This communion is the principal fruit of the sacrament of Holy Communion. It also says that the Eucharist preserves, increases, and renews the life of grace which we receive at baptism. Just as material food nourishes us to grow physically, the Eucharist provides essential nourishment so that we can grow in our spiritual life. Also, the Eucharist separates us from sin by strengthening us in charity. The Eucharist washes away past venial sins and strengthens us against committing sins in the future. The Eucharist also makes the church, for when we are united to Christ in the Eucharist, we are also united more closely to all other members of his mystical body, which is the church. This sacrament, that is the sign of unity and bond of charity, also inspires us to pray ever more fervently for the unity of all Christians. As Christ himself prayed on the night he instituted this sacrament. So I also invite you to remember that the disposition of the one receiving the sacrament plays a role in what effect the sacrament has on the person. While your understanding or belief does not change the reality of the sacrament, a greater awareness of what the Eucharist is can dispose you to a more fruitful reception of the sacrament, leading to a more profound transformation of your heart. So may God open our hearts to be filled to overflowing with the graces of this glorious sacrament, as we are grateful for the fruits of the Eucharist.